Hi, guys. I am so excited for the four of you to be here so we can kind of do a little deep dive into the OCP Summit that was week before last. We just all, I think our minds are all just full of information. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get four of my favorite workstream leads, which they're all my favorite, but still, and for us to kind of do like a little bit, each one of us talk a little bit about what we, really what made an impact on us. And so, of course, I couldn't have been more thrilled about being there. It was my actual first time physically being there. So, but yeah, it's Halloween. So if you notice, I'm recording from a very creepy swamp, somewhere. So yeah, and I love to dress up. So I'm actually a skeleton, in fact. So yeah, anyway, I noticed none of you guys dressed up. So I'm the only one.
No.
I'm a ghost.
Oh, you are. Okay. So I will do the introductions, but like you guys all three have like the hardest last names. So we're gonna go by just first names. So we have Rich with SuperMicro. We have David with Impleon. How does Impleon? Impleon. Okay, yes. I always want to butcher that. And Punith with Shell. And so each one of you guys have a different perspective, and I will go last. I know Punith, I'm going to go off, and then we'll let Rich go first. So really, truly, just give us, your Cliff Notes version of what was like the most important things that you really thought came out of the OCP week. What was your favorite things? What just give us your lowdown. So top three.
Absolutely. Thank you, Allison. So I think from my perspective, this was the event where immersion and cooling was no longer the sideshow but went center stage. And for me, I saw so much more activity, so much more vendor engagement, so much more product release, so much more awareness that this is really moving. This is really moving much faster than any of us, even the most ardent proponents thought it was moving. And for me, the biggest takeaway was Rolf and Pro Immersion's new economic model, indicating that immersion cooling is now a $1 billion industry today, ramping to $6 billion by 2030, with very detailed economic analysis to back that up. And given how reticent a lot of the rest of the industry is to admit liquid cooling is happening, this is the first time where everybody kind of said, no, it's really happening. It's leaving R&D land very fast, and it's entering product land very fast, and not just deployment, but scale deployment. And so from my perspective, we saw a lot of great technologies, and those are highlighted all over the map by tank manufacturers, coolant manufacturers, all sorts of hybrid combinations of liquid and immersion cooling that we saw. And it was truly awe-inspiring to see the interest growing. So we had a very ad hoc, last minute, let's have a Q&A session called the Liquid Bazaar, which we thought, Allison, you and I know, we'll get a dozen people, maybe 24 people. We had standing room only, and by the middle of the event, we had a line out the door because people were so engaged and wanted to have that interaction around immersion cooling. And so when that type of activity is happening, that means buyers are getting agitated and they're moving, So that was the big takeaway for me, is immersion cooling in all its various flavors, forms, combinations has left R&D land. It is now product.
Yeah, spot on. David, you give us your vision.
Yes, the same with me, that I was 1 year ago and now, and I see that it was dedicated keynote for the immersion. It was dedicated day for immersion. And another thing which is making impact is AI. There was a lot of evaluation of AI, its impact, it's developing, rising, and connection with the liquid cooling of this AI. So these things come together. And also on the exhibition, I saw this new OCP server platforms. And when I see to the details, I saw that the fans board is come in separate way. It means that you can just take away that and it is ready for immersion. You don't need to make any additional takeaways. So it's almost ready for the immersion. And this is a good thing for new OCP boards, which is created. And another thing is about, of course, involvement of the people in that all. How big interest is from the community, because even the last presentation which I had made, it was almost full of a lot of questions. So this is the behavior of the industry, of the market, that it's we are in the right direction.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I love that. Punith, you not next on the list.
Okay, thanks, Allison. So I would add actually few things what Rich as well as David talked about earlier. So I think for me, the biggest takeaway was on day one, where we had two keynote addressing that was done first by Zane Ball from Intel. He's the corporate vice president who was actually talking about the acceleration of AI technology, which is coming up in the data center industry. Plus, also he was also providing the need of the hour is importance of immersion technology to cool these accelerated the speed of the silicon that is actually coming up in the market. So that was one of the big takeaways, is to talk about silicon manufacturer about the need for AI as well as for immersion or considering different cooling technologies. And also, I think he talked about the collaborations that is happening today in the ecosystem with respect to Intel, Shell coming together on fluid certification program. That was one of the key points there. And then the next one was on the other keynote address. Rolf talked about in holistic view of the immersion technology itself, where we are, how we started, where we are today, and considering the silicon roadmap, how do we address the challenge for cooling? I think he presented all the different types of technologies which is prevailing in liquid cooling, and also he just highlighted why these technologies are very important, and then how do we address these challenges today we have changing from air to liquid. Then I think the next one for me was definitely the Liquid Bazaar event, because that was game changing, because there are so many products available in the market. I think it was actually a place where we brought all the people in the ecosystem coming together to see what these fluids are, who are actually making these fluids, what the type of chemistries which is available, without ranking them, just be neutral, show them what is there in the market, and the engagement by all these audiences coming in the room and asking questions about what these chemistries are and what are the challenges that how we address with respect to sustainability, ecotoxicity, and then recycling of these fluids. I think it was a very, very engaging sessions for me. Then I think in the expo, this was very big. Third takeaway for me is about there is a lot of questions asked about these, how do we address, going beyond the roadmap of 350 to, let's say, up to 1000 watts. Is single phase technology, can that be used to reach to this milestone? I think the collaboration between Intel and Submer coming together and developing a sort of a forced convection heat sink design that actually using the Shell fluid, we can actually breach that milestone. That was for me as a representation from Shell, but also as part of the industry as a OCP lead. I think this is a very big milestone that you just want to demonstrate in front of you. I think all this while it has been showing the simulation being run to customers, but I think seeing is believing. I think everybody also had that same feel, even myself as well. That was very big advancement. And also, finally, for me, so many vendor providers here, they came together, especially the fluid manufacturers, all the big players in the market with respect to single and two-phase, they came and showcased their products. At the same time, we also see the ecosystem like the tank manufacturers, many of them coming in, showcasing what they are actually bringing to the market. So for me, in a holistic way, a true representation and also dedicating the last day for immersion on various topics that we covered. I think we have set a tone this year is that immersion and AI is definitely part and parcel going forward, and we have demonstrated that quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you guys, you guys covered all of my top three. I think we have to give, you know, a couple of shout outs to Jessica, you know, with Intel, who has been a part of that, you know, Fluid, all of the things that you guys, that they're doing and in collaboration with the OCP group. Of course, Mark Miyoshi showing the device that you're talking about that showed the, you know, how are we going to make these 1,000 watt chips, and that was absolutely one of my big takeaways too. If you when you figured out what you were looking at, you're like, oh my gosh, this is epic, right? So that was so exciting to see. Of course, the Liquid Bazaar blew my mind. You're right, Rich. We were kind of like there at the last minute. We're like, okay, how are we going to handle this? You know, right? We were just like, what are we going to do? But it worked out so well. In fact, you know, there's like an encore event in Lisbon, and I think we're even going to take it up a notch. I think what really people enjoyed was being able to have an open mic session to ask questions, and I think they're going to expand that with maybe all the Workstream leads in Lisbon. So exciting, so exciting. I think obviously everybody mentioned Rolf and the keynote, and I think it was seeing one of our own, right? You know, kind of, you know, our one of our headmaster per se, right? Up there, you know, being able to be one of the keynotes and start to talk about, you know, I mean, he didn't just say immersion, he talked about liquid immersion, but it was so exciting, I think, from our perspective, all of us, just to see him up there, you know, in his red shirt, right? His red shirt, yeah.
Yes, yes.
So very, very exciting. I don't think there's anything that I could say that you guys haven't said, other than it's just such a lovely group of people, you know, just everybody is just, you know, and that's, I think I say this a lot, that, you know, you've got all the technology providers. Punith, you mentioned several earlier, several of the fluid providers, everybody in there kind of checking their egos to lift up where we need to be right now with this technology space. And Rich, I agree with you. Immersion's time is now, and that's kind of the big takeaway I had. So I don't know if anybody else have anything else. I know we're doing good on our time. So, yeah,
I'd love to pop in. I think one of the key things we get so wrapped around the axle about how can we get this stuff to work, and then we finally get it to work in some combination, and we're so excited. But we fail to realize that half the people showing up to this marketplace are starting their learning curve. And so I think what we tapped into with the bazaar was the reality that, look, most of the people showing up, this is brand new to them. This is like magic, right? And so we need to make sure we always have an event at OCP where we can bring the newbies up to base level so they understand what's happening, how it works, just generally. I mean, the range of questions we got at the Liquid Bazaar, from the most basic to the most highly technical, there was such a broad range of questions we had to field. It was amazing. And so to me, that indicates we have to, especially for Lisbon, make sure that we have a track within OCP where the newbies can understand and merge into the process.
Yeah, I love that you're calling them newbies, but I love that. Yeah. Wow. And I completely agree with that. I think it was really needed. And, you know, the whole day of immersion, like you said, you guys said, that was also for me, you know, I mean, just.
I just want to say that 2 years ago, we preparing this immersion cooling pitch deck to explain the benefits of immersion. And we try to convince the market that immersion is good. But today we see opposite. We don't need to convince the market that immersion is a interesting solution for the new servers, but they come to understand what they should do with this new TDP CPUs, with these new GPUs. So it means that the time has come. We have that high TDP request from the market. We have that demand, and this demand for the new servers, new applications create demand for the new way of the cooling. So we just wait these 2 years, and the market is changed. So this is why we have such people flow which want to know how to do that, what and evaluate what is the solution there. And Rolf's presentation perfectly explained them that there is no one answer. This is the best or this is the worst. So you should go from the software, from the application, decide kind of hardware, and after decide the way of the cooling and the cooling infrastructure.
Yeah, I agree. Did you have something else, Punith? I think maybe we'll just kind of like give our final wrap up thoughts too in regards to that. I do also always, you say newbies, one of the things that I'm always talking about is attending the community call, the OCP community call, right? Because that way it's almost like, you know, the Cliff Notes version of every single one of the work streams, because everyone is dissecting a little different aspect of this. So it's really good. If you don't have time to attend, you know, 13 meetings a month, right? Jump into that one, listen in, and you know, then you might actually get excited about one of them and decide to focus on that one. So that's usually my advice to anyone I'm talking to. So
yeah, one last thing from my side is I would like to thank all the OCP leads, because it is not easy to drive these calls because you know, you need to bring the industry together. There is a lot of efforts involved. I would like to thank everyone because their contribution is significant.
yes.
We need more representation coming in. If there are new people joining these calls, or if they don't know about it, please go to OCP website. There are a lot of links available and various topics being covered. Please join and make a contribution to the society. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree completely.
And by the way, we create the OCP Immersion group in LinkedIn in order to spread that information more and involve more people, because what we are doing, it's like more connected with the narrow people professionals, which are in immersion. But we need to involve more people which will use that immersion, which have an issue with the new server cooling, and this is how we will grow our community.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much for kicking that off. And this is going to be posted on there, just so you know. But I looked, and like what it's been running now just this week only, and it's already got almost 200 members. So,
yes, that's true.
There you go. Look at the interest there. So, well, you know what, guys, we got to do another one. Maybe the new year we'll kick off something like, what do you think that 2024 to expect for immersion? So yeah, I'm going to ask you guys to put on your thinking caps and start to do some projections for me, and we'll have another one, because this is such a great team, and I love it whenever everything just flows nicely and there's not any awkward moments or anything. Too. People are so interested in this topic too.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
really, you know, I mean, you can't like deny how much interest is in the topic, and we're starting to see it beyond. You know, I mean, Don Mitchell is out there at regular, you know, speaking at just, you know, regular data center conferences, and I hate to say it like that, but you know what I mean. And so about, you know, not to fear liquids and how to bring liquids into your data center, liquid and immersion cooling technology in your data center. So we know we're at this nice precipice, and it, you know, still work to be done, right? Everybody agrees with that. Air's not going away. Everybody agrees with that, right? So, but yeah, excitement. So anybody else want to come in? Like, you know, no, last thought.
Yes. Just a few things which will be next in industry. So these days we see just like testing examples when customers take one tank and test that, or just one rack to evaluate that. They see many challenges and solve that step by step. But next year, with this rapid growth of requests in new servers, in new performance from the data centers, we will see that it will be evolution not of the single tank, but the whole data center infrastructure, because you should rethink that, redesign, and that we will see next year, to how to make these deployments in big scale. And I think connected with that will be Don Mitchell, this Workstream advanced cooling facilities, how to build that in right way. Right,
I agree completely. I think more people are really starting to ask and look at POC. And when I don't want to even like the word POC because it's already been proven out, right? So we've got to stop calling it POC. But you know, that way they can experience it and, you know, what do they say, kick the tires or something around, right? So
yes, and another thing is that now customer start think about, okay, I install that immersion, it start work, it's working, but what will be my action next 10 years?
Yeah,
what I should do. And this is why another immersion challenge which we bring up is liquid life cycle assessment. In order to explain to the people what they need to do with the fluid, with the equipment, how to handle that in perfect way. Even it can work 10 to 15 years without any special requirements, but we need the guidelines, how to handle that, how to work with that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you, gentlemen, again. So for your time, I know how valuable it is. And so until next time, and happy Halloween, you know, all that good stuff.
Happy Halloween as well.
All right, good deal. We'll talk soon again, as usual.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Bye. Bye.